Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please tell me, all of you can hear my voice? येतोय सगळ्यांना आवाज?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please join fast so that we will start our lecture. Only 17 students have joined. And in your class, I think you're having 67 students. So join fast so that it will be better for us to continue our lecture. We will wait for 2 more minutes and then we will start our lecture. Till the time, okay. Almost 26 students have joined. So let them join one by one. We will start our lecture. Okay. So yes, I have to share the screen first. Yes. Tell me if this screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yes, as all of you can see the screen. Okay. Let's start. Okay, so in the first lecture, we have seen that what's the importance of English. We have started with the topic importance of English. That is, what is the importance of English? And in that, we have discussed about the language. That is, what is the language? That point we have discussed. in the last lecture. Okay, first lecture we have discussed about what is language. So what is language? The language is the media or medium through which we start communication, or we try to communicate with the other people or the person in front of you. Okay, so that's why it is also called as the medium or media through which we make or we establish a communication. Okay, so language is our primary source of communication, and it's the method through which we share our ideas and thoughts. Generally what happens, we share our ideas with language, and with the help of language we share it with our friends, with our colleagues, with our parents. Okay, please keep in mind that while joining the meeting you will have to keep your mic mute. Okay, please mute your voice so that there won't be any unnecessary disturbance during the lecture. While you want to, if you want to say something or want to share something, you will have to unmute your mic. Okay, so do that. Please don't unmute your mic after joining the lecture. If you will have any problem, then you can speak to me. Okay, so please do that. So in the first lecture we have discussed about the language. Okay, so language is the primary source of communication, or we can say that it is the method through which we make communication with the other people. Okay, we generally share our ideas by using language. So the language is also called as the verbal communication. Okay, it is also called as the verbal communication. Verbal means what? आपण जे लिहितो वाचतो त्याला आपण काय म्हणतात तर व्हर्बल असं म्हणतो आपण. ओके, अँड नॉन व्हर्बल मीन्स व्हॉट? We don't use language for the communication purpose. In the non-verbal communication, we generally don't use the language. We don't speak with other person for communication purpose, and that's why it is called as the non-verbal. Non-verbal means we don't use words. Okay, verbal means we use words for communication purpose, for speaking purpose. In non-verbal we don't use words, we use gestures. Okay, we use gestures or we use signs for the communication. Generally in non-verbal communication we use signs. Okay, आपण काय करतो, नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन मध्ये आपण काय करतो तर साइन्स वापरतो, गेस्चर्स वापरतो. ओके, और आवर फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन्स that we use for establishing or for the contact purpose or communication purpose. Okay, so this is the difference between verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Then we have seen that human. Okay, we have seen that human is the only animal. Okay, human is the only animal that can make language or that can use language for the purpose of communication. Okay, and animals don't use language, they use signs, they use voices. Okay, they are having voices, they have voices, they make different voices. Okay, they creates different voices, utterances. Okay, utterances means what? तर उच्चार आपण म्हणतो किंवा त्यांचे जे काही ओरडणं असतं. ओके, क्राईज, that comes under the utterances or voices. Okay, they don't use the language. Animals don't use language for communication between them also, and with others, other animals also. Has anybody seen that animals are speaking like human? Is it possible? It is not possible. Okay, because animals don't have that uh, ability to get uh, the language or to make a script of any language. Okay, animals don't have that ability. Animals can only utters, they can only cry. Okay, or they make different voices, like uh, talking about cows, they generally uh, roars, or talking about lion, if take an example of lion. Okay, what he does, he generally what roars. Okay, so lion's roar is the voice of that lion. Then cuckoo makes the noise or voice of coo, coo. Okay, so these are the voices that animals can produce, or these are the voices that animals uh, have. So they generally in between them, they make use of voices, or they make communication with the help of voices or utterances, but they can't use language. So this is the difference between human being and the animals. Also, we have seen that in world we can find thousands of languages. Okay, there are thousands of languages and its types in the world. Speaking about India itself, we can find that in India itself, we can find hundreds of languages are used. Okay, so uh, each region in India, okay, if we are taking the different states of the India, we can find that there are more than uh, 29 states. Okay, so there are 29 states, and each state is having its own mother tongue or regional language. Means what? If we are talking about Maharashtra is having its own regional language, that is Marathi. Okay, we are having our regional language as Marathi language. And when we talk about the North India part, okay, northern India states, there you will find that Hindi language is the dominant language. But when we come towards South Indian states, then you will find that they are having their own language. Okay, they are having their own language for the communication. They use this language, Hindi language, but only for the specific purpose. Okay, generally what they use their own regional language. Means it, Maharashtra is having its regional language like Marathi, Gujarat is having Gujarati, then Tamil Nadu is having Tamil, Karnataka is having Kannada language. So these are the regional languages. Kerala is having Malayalam language, Andhra is having Telugu language. Okay, so uh, each state has its own language, its own regional language, and the people of all the states try to uh, make contact with other person, or try to communicate with others with their own language. They don't use other languages or uh, Hindi language for the communication purpose. In only North Indian states, you will find that they are having their regional, or they are following the Hindi language. Okay, but uh, talking about the South India part, it is having the South Indian states are having their own regional language. So we will see that there is the difference between each state. Okay, each state is having its own mother tongue or regional language. So that's why it is said that there are 1,000 languages in the world. We can find more than thousands of languages, and some of the languages are spoken by millions of people. त्यातल्या काही ज्या भाषा आहेत त्या जवळपास करोडो लोक बोलतात, अँड अदर्स बाय ओनली फ्यू थाउजंड. आणि काही अशा पण लँग्वेजेस आहेत. ओके, सम ऑफ द लँग्वेजेस like tribal languages. Talking about tribes, okay, there are different tribes all over the world. In India also there are tribes, tribal people who are living in the forests or Vidarbha region. Okay, Chandrapur, Gadchiroli, these are the states, these are the districts, okay, regions from Maharashtra. They are having tribal people, and these are the people who are having less population. Okay, only few of the thousands of the people are living in the tribes, in the jungles. Okay, and that's why the language they are speaking is only spoken by them only. Okay, तेच फक्त लोक ती भाषा वापरतात, दुसरे आपण वापरत नाही. So in this way we can say that some of the languages like English language, if we are speaking about English, this language is the most spoken language in all over the world. We are using it for educational purpose, we are using it for business purpose, for tourism purpose, for hoteling purpose. Okay, so this is the language which is the most spoken language all over the world. It is spoken by millions of people, करोडो लोक, अब्जावधी लोक या लँग्वेजचा कम्युनिकेशन लँग्वेज म्हणून यूज करतात. ओके, दिस लँग्वेज इज यूज्ड ॲज अ communication language. Okay, so this point is also we have discussed. Let's move towards the next slide. In the last lecture we have also discussed about why do we learn English language. So the reasons to learn English is the most important reason to learn English is for getting a good job. Okay, so for getting a company job, or for getting a private MNC, multinational company, or it might be IT company, or it might be core company. Okay, so the jobs of these companies, we can get them, we can uh, take that job only after we can be able to use this language, we can be able to give the interview in this language. Okay, they will take your interview. Okay, and after that, if you are passed in that, you will be passed in that, then they will keep you as as their employee. Okay, so that's why this is also one of the reasons for getting job, for getting the knowledge of all over the world. जगामध्ये काय चाललंय कुठं हे सुद्धा आपण आपल्याला कसं कळू शकतं, इन द वे थ्रू द इंग्लिश लँग्वेज. ओके, ओनली आफ्टर reading, or only after watching the news in English channels, we can see that whatever is happening all over the world, it that incidents, okay, we get the information of that incidents only after watching the news. Okay, news channels. So this is also the very important part, and that's why we learn the English language. And also the reasons are this language is brought up by the Britishers to India. Okay, so when Britishers came with this language, they started teaching this language to we people. They started teaching this language, they introduced this language in the Indian education system. Okay, इंडियन एज्युकेशन सिस्टीम मध्ये त्यांनी 18व्या शतकापासून काय केलं, इंग्लिश हा सब्जेक्ट काय केला, इन्क्लूड केला. ओके, सो लॉर्ड मॅकॉले वॉज द पायोनियर टू bring this language, to include this language in the syllabus of Indian universities. भारतीय युनिव्हर्सिटीज मध्ये हा जो इंग्लिश हा जो सब्जेक्ट आहे तो इन्क्लूड केला गेला 18व्या शतकाच्या शेवटी. ओके, किंवा 19व्या शतकाच्या सुरुवातीला, इन द end of the 18th or the beginning of the 19th century. So that's why we learn this language. It is also the original language of England, and through the historical efforts, means Britishers took the efforts, okay, to teach this language. Okay, through the historical efforts of the British Empire, it has become the primary or secondary language of many former British colonies. So this language has become primary or secondary language in the many British colonies, means whatever the countries are there that were ruled by the Britishers, that countries are called as the colonies of the Britishers. ब्रिटिशांच्या colonies असं आपण म्हणतो. Whatever the states are there or whatever the countries are there, okay, those countries who were ruled by the British government, England, that comes under the colonies of the Britishers. That is the uh, countries like the United States. So US, म्हणजे आत्ताचा अमेरिका. ओके, युनायटेड स्टेट्स वॉज ऑल्सो द colony of the Britishers in the 17th century. Okay, in the 17th century, US was also the colony of the Britishers. Canada, Australia, India, and many different countries, African countries. So African continent also was the part of the Britishers colonies. Okay, there are many countries in the Africa that were ruled, okay, by the Britishers. So this is also one of the reason that we are learning this language, we are having this language in our syllabus. Okay, then the second point is, currently English is primarily language of not only countries actively touched by the British impression, but also many business and cultural spheres. So we can find that at this moment, okay, at this time, we can see that this is the most dominant language. Okay, it is also the language of business and cultural spheres. Means in the for the business purpose also we are using this language, okay, to establish the business internationally. This language helps us to establish the business. Okay, so this is also one of the reason, that's why we learn this language. And also this language is used as the primary language by not only the countries who were ruled by the British government, but also there are the countries who were not ruled by the British government. Okay, so this is also one of the reason. Then also there is one reason that it is also the language of Hollywood. Many Hollywood movies we can see. Okay, we have we love to watch the Hollywood movies like Avengers. Okay, or Harry Potter series. Okay, Harry Potter series, Avengers series, Iron Man, Batman. These are the some of the series, Marvel series studios movies that we see or that we watch in the theaters. Okay, and we can see that they use English as a language. Okay, in India we dub it and we make its Hindi version also, but most of the people enjoy these Hollywood movies with only English language. Okay, so this is also one of the reason. That's why we learn this language. This is the language of Hollywood, and also this language is the language of international banking and business. Means what? We are having the banking system in our country. Okay, we put our money in the banks. In the same way, our country also keep the money, exchange the money with other countries. Okay, and also we take the loans from international banks. Okay, so the this business, okay, this give and take business of money, okay, this happens with other countries, foreign countries, and that's why we learn this language. We use this language for business purpose. Okay, banking purpose is also, for banking purpose also we use this language, as well as for the business purpose. Means what? We export fruits, we export vegetables. Okay, we export sugar, we export cotton. These are some of the uh, farm products. Okay, farm products that we export with the other countries, developed countries like America, European Union. Okay, or Eastern countries, in Western countries, in African countries also we import and export. Also we import uh, the technologies. Okay, we import different technologies. आपण काय करतो, तर टेक्नॉलॉजी काय करतो, इम्पोर्ट करतो, त्याची आयात करतो. वी इम्पोर्ट डिफरंट गॅजेट्स. ओके, फ्रॉम चायना, फ्रॉम कोरिया, फ्रॉम Japan. We import technology, different gadgets, computer systems. Okay, we import different small parts, components of the laptops, computers, that we import from China, Japan, Korea. We import mobiles from Korea, that is Samsung mobiles. Okay, so this we do the business. Okay, with those countries who are the developed countries. Okay, and that's why this language is also the language of business. Also in the cultural spheres. Okay, in the cultural spheres, means what? We are having different culture from the Western countries. Okay, we Indian people follow the Eastern culture or Indian culture, but Western culture is the culture which is followed by the countries in the west side of India. Okay, so whatever the countries like European countries or American countries, that comes under the Western side. Okay, and they are following the Western culture. They are having Western culture, and we follow the Eastern culture, and that's why their text, the exchange between the cultural spheres, we try to follow those culture, Western culture, and the Western countries try to follow Indian culture. Okay, we are having uh, yoga and pranayam. Okay, yoga and pranayam, these are the Indian culture aspects, and these are the aspects which are followed by the Western countries and the people of Western countries. And thus these cultural spheres or the exchange between culture takes place between India and the Western countries. So that's why the English language also plays an important role in this. Okay, so that's why we also learn the English language. The next reason is the reason of the globalization. Okay, so what is the meaning of the globalization? It's the method through which, or it's the way through which we get the communication easier and faster. Okay, we get the communication easier and faster with the people from other countries. Means the foreigners, with the foreigners we make or we start communicating with the different platforms. Okay, so that platforms are also called as the social media platforms. Okay, and the social media platforms are the fruits of the globalization. Okay, so social media platforms like Facebook, then WhatsApp. Okay, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, uh, Messenger app, uh, Twitter, app. These are the social media platforms. By using these platforms, we try to reach the person, we try to make the contact, communication with the person from other country. Okay, means what? If a person belongs to the Italy, or the person belongs to the US, United States of America, that person also comes in contact with we people. Okay, by using the different apps or social media platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. Okay, so these are called as the globalization fruits. These are the fruits of the globalization. And uh, take any simple example. Okay, take the example of which is very simple. This lecture I'm conducting here from sitting at the college. Okay, from college itself I'm conducting this lecture, and you are listening this lecture from your home. Okay, sitting at home, you are listening, you are attending this lecture. So this also is the revolution which made us possible to be in a contact. Okay, and this happened because of the globalization. आपण इतके एकमेकांशी काय करू शकतो, बोलू शकतो. लेक्चर मी इथनं डिक्टेट करतोय, यू आर लिसनिंग टू माय लेक्चर. ओके, and this is called as the fruits of the globalization. Globalization नसतं तर हे पॉसिबल नसतं. इट वोंट बी पॉसिबल विदाउट ग्लोबलायझेशन. So this term is very important, globalization. And without this English language, the globalization won't be possible. Globalization हे possible नसतं without using the English language. Okay, so English language has done it easy task of the globalization of the communication between we people. And with the help of the English language, we have come close to each other. We can talk to each other, we can contact with each other. Okay, we can see the we can make the video conference. Okay, we can make conference call, we can make video conference. Okay, we can talk, we can see each other, and this happens only with the technological advancement. Okay, technological advancement happens due to globalization. So this globalization term is very important. Then next point is, without proper communication it is not possible to be in a connection. So without proper communication, this communication revolution, okay, this communication revolution happens because of the globalization. And without this communication it won't be possible to be in a connection. आपण एकमेकांशी बोलूच शकलो नसतो जर टेक्नॉलॉजिकल ऍडव्हान्समेंट झाली नसती तर. ओके, so this happened because of the technological advancement, technical growth. Okay, so these are some of the reasons. That's why we learn the English language also. Therefore, it is important to know how English language will unite people. It is universally accepted language. So this language, English language, is also called as the universally accepted language. Why it is called as the universally accepted language? Because we can see this language is spoken by each corner of the world. Okay, if you go to the western countries, if you go to the eastern countries, you will at least find one person who is speaking this language or who is making his communication with this language, and that's why this language is called as the universally accepted language, and that's why we learn this language. So these are the some of the reasons that we learn, that's why we learn the English language. Okay, let's move towards the next slide. Let's see the reasons to learn English. Okay, so what are the reasons to learn this English language? Let's see them. The very first reason to learn English language is it is essential for work. It is essential for work. Means what? When you go to any office, okay? When you go to any office, then you will see that the official language or official work uh, has been done with this language. Any official work, okay? Any governmental portal, you will see that that portal is using this language. Okay, so for as official work, okay, any official work that we want to do, it is the essential language for that work. And also for job purpose, when you join any company, okay, when you join any company, it might be IT company, it might be core company, it might be MNC, multinational company like TCS, Wipro, uh, Cummins, then Cognizant. Some of these are the companies which are the international companies. Wipro, Infosys, okay, Infosys is also in between them. So these are some of the IT companies, and you will see that these are the companies which are hiring their personals, okay, which are hiring their employees after knowing that that person whom they are keeping on job, whom they want to take for the job purpose, they check your knowledge of the English language. Okay, they will check your knowledge of the English. They will check either you are speaking this language or not, either you are using the language, English language, for the communication purpose with your customers, with your delegates, okay, or your seniors. Are you using this language for that purpose? They just see that and they will hire you only if you are able to speak this language. Okay, so that's why we learn this language for work. That is, this language is essential for work. It is the universal language. So this language is also universal language. Universal language म्हणतो आपण का? Why this language is called as the universal language? Because this language is spoken all over the world. तुम्ही कुठेही जा, या जगामध्ये तुम्ही कुठेही गेलात, ओके, you when you go to any part of this world, you will see that, or you will find a single person, एक तरी माणूस तुम्ही शोधू शकाल किंवा तुम्हाला सापडेल which is using this language, or which have, or which has, that person who is having the knowledge of this language. Okay, so this is also one of the reasons, that's why we learn this language. Then the third is it is open, it will open the door of new cultures. It will open the doors of new culture, so we can understand different cultures. When we study those cultures, we can understand different cultures that are in the whole world. Okay, या जगामध्ये काय काय जे काही कल्चर आहेत, each country is having its own culture. Okay, each country or each part of that country is having its own culture. If we are talking about India itself, we'll see that there are 29 states in India, and these 29 states are not same or not following the same culture. Each state is having its own culture. Okay, प्रत्येक स्टेटचं त्याचं वेगळं एक कल्चर आहे, परंपरा आहे. ओके, if we are talking about Maharashtra, we are having the Marathi culture, Maharashtrian culture. Okay, we follow the Maharashtrian culture. When we are talking about the southern India, the states of the southern India, we'll see that these are the southern states, and they also are having their different cultures, like uh, Tamil culture. Okay, Tamil Nadu has its own culture. Telangana, Andhra is having its own culture. Karnataka is having its own culture. Okay, Kerala is having its own culture. So we can see that there are different cultures, and to know those culture in India also. Okay, if you want to get the information of different cultures of the Indian people also, we will get information easily with the use of English language. If we are finding those culture, we are Googling uh, the information about the cultures in each state of India, you will see or you will get lot much information regarding the different cultures. Okay, so you will see that there are many cultures in India itself. There are means India itself is having very variety of cultures. Okay, India मध्येच तुम्हाला कल्चरची व्हरायटी दिसेल. ओके, so southern countries are different culturally from northern states of India. Northeastern states of India are culturally different than uh, western India, western part of India. Okay, so this is the cultural difference between each state. Okay, and to know the cultures, it is very important, or we can it becomes very easy with the use of English language. If we are searching about the cultures in India itself, uh, it we get information only after we are searching on Google with English as a language. Okay, इंग्लिश मधून आपण एखादा शब्द टाकला गुगल वर की आपण लगेच तो शब्दाचे रिसोर्सेस लगेच तिथं पॉपअप होतात, लगेच तिथं लिंक पॉपअप होतात. ओके, लिंक्स तिथे येऊन पडतात. ओके, सो that's why these are some of the reasons. Then you will travel comfortably. Another reason to learn this language is traveling. For comfortable traveling in western countries, or for if you are on the tour of the European countries. Okay, if you are on the tour of the European countries, then you will find that the traveling, okay, traveling becomes easy, traveling becomes comfortable after using this language. Okay, if you are on the European tour and if you are not using this language, if you can't be able to speak with the person where you are traveling, then it becomes very difficult to make make the communication with that country. Okay, or the person, people of that country. So for traveling purposes also, this language is very important. Then it is the most open language. ही language काय आहे तर open language आहे. We can add different words from any language of the world. Okay, so this language is accepting the different words from other languages also. Means what? If we know that there are many words like roti, juggi, okay, juggi, roti, these are the words which are added to the English language from Indian language or Hindi language. Okay, so that's why this language is called as the most open language. Then next reason to learn this language is language of art and literature. So you'll see that uh, there are many artists. Okay, there are many artists uh, uh, who use this language for reaching, okay, for reaching international public, for reaching to the international public, for reaching to the international customers. The artists use this language, they speak, they try to convey with the English language. That's why this language is also called as the language of art and literature. Yes, there are many writers who are writing their literature, who are writing their poetry, drama, novels, short stories, okay, or critical comments. Also, they are writing by using the English language, okay. So this is also one of the reasons to learn this language. Uh, in India itself, we can see that Dr. Uh, uh, where Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, okay, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, who is the very famous literary figure which emerged in India, okay. आपल्या कंट्रीमध्ये रवींद्रनाथ टागोर हे लिटररी फिगर मीन्स व्हॉट, त्यांच्यासाठी कशासाठी ओळखले जातात तर लिटरेचरसाठी, त्यांच्या लिटरेचरसाठी ते ओळखले जातात, साहित्यासाठी. ओके, सो व्हॉट एव्हर दे रोट, ओके, व्हॉट एव्हर दे रोट देअर लिटरेचर, दे रोट देअर ड्रामाज, नॉवेल्स, पोएट्री. ओके, they wrote their poetry, they translated their poetry in English language to reach the international customers or international readers. Okay, we can say that readers, to reach to each and every reader of international level, they try to write their literature, write their novels, poems by using this language. So this language is also called as the language of art and literature. And the next reason is what? It eliminates the language weaknesses. It eliminates the language weaknesses. So whatever the language weaknesses we are having, we can eliminate with the help of this language. So these are some of the reasons to learn English language. Okay, so this is the next part. Coming towards next part, the importance and need of the English language. This is the another part that we are going to discuss. So what is the importance and need of the English language? Why this language has become so much important? Because the people, the first reason is what? People know the importance of it for the job purpose or for getting the job. We see that we are using this language. Okay. Okay, there is another lecture which will be starting within 5 minutes of environmental science. So we are having only 5 minutes in our hand. So let me first mark your attendance and then we will continue. Okay, just a minute. Don't leave the meeting. I have to mark your attendance and after that you will have to join to the next lecture. Okay, so keep in mind. Okay. You can comment your roll number in message box also. Okay, so that I will get your roll number. Some of you are not joining with your proper roll number and division format. Okay, some of you are joining with only their name. Okay, काही जणांचे फक्त नावच दिसतात. ओके, शौर्य कोण आहेत? शौर्य रणगत, अजय कोरे, तुकाराम अंबड. तुमचे रोल नंबर काय आहेत?
21 आहे सर, अंबड तुकाराम.
21. तुम्ही मग ते त्या फॉर्मॅट मध्ये का जॉईन होत नाही मीटिंग मध्ये?
नेक्स्ट लेक्चरला करतो तसं.
हा, पुढच्या लेक्चर पासून फॉर्मॅट मध्ये तुमच्या जॉईन व्हा, नाही तर मग तुमची अबसेंटी लागेल, कारण मला काही रोल नंबर माहित नाही तुमचं. ओके, अँड आय डोंट हॅव दॅट मच टाइम टू टेक अटेंडन्स ऑल्सो. कधी कधी काय होतं की अटेंडन्स घ्यायला सुद्धा वेळ नाही मिळत, आपण लेक्चर घेण्यात बिझी राहतो. ओके, ठीक आहे. तर ओके, एंड करतो मीटिंग मी.